Welcome back to the 2-Minute Warning. Today I'm looking at when I think the Chicago Bears should start quarterback Justin Fields in the NFL. But before we get into that topic, question for those of you viewing, do you think the Chicago Bears will make the playoffs in 2021? Of course, things would change. If Aaron Rodgers doesn't play for the Packers, the NFC North is completely opened up. But even if he is back, can they make a wild card run? Comment down below. But getting straight into it, obviously there's no perfect answer for when Justin Fields will start. But a lot of people think, you got to put him in on an easy game, throw him in week 7 or 6 whenever they play the Detroit Lions, give him a game that he can walk into. Don't throw him against the Green Bay Packers and Aaron Rodgers in Green Bay for his first start, or throw him in after the bye, or throw him in just when Andy Dalton starts doing bad. Or some may say, don't start Justin Fields once. There is no, he shouldn't be starting his rookie year. Let Andy Dalton go a full year, just like Patrick Mahomes and Alex Smith did, follow that route, and then have Justin Fields come in and start his sophomore year. And the answer is there is no perfect time. I mean, we're just not going to know. To me, I'd love to see the kids start day one, because that shows that through OTAs, through practice camp, through training camp, through preseason, Matt Nagy, a head coach I'm actually very fond of in the Chicago Bears, has found out that Justin Fields has the raw skill, the raw talent to start day one. And if he can start day one, that means he's a pretty talented dude. Looking at the Chicago Bears quarterback room between Nick Foles, Andy Dalton, and Justin Fields, I wouldn't say Andy Dalton and Nick Foles are great NFL quarterbacks by any means. Yeah, say what you want about Nick Foles in his Super Bowl run. If he was that great, he'd still be starting. But that is a quarterback room of some of the best backups in the league. When you think of the best NFL quarterback backups, Andy Dalton, Nick Foles, those are names you throw around. And if Justin Fields is able to top those guys, I'm not saying he's great all of a sudden, but if he's able to, top some of the league's best backups, he's at least one of the best 32 starters or one of the 32 best quarterbacks in the league, and that is at least worth acknowledging for a rookie quarterback in a brand new system in a decent quarterback room that he has to overcome. So I'd love to see him, start week 1, because I don't think the Bears are going to rush it by any means. I think they're going to start Justin Fields when Justin Fields is ready. He's already said he's going to be very competitive, and he thinks everyone should compete for the starting job, and he himself wants that starting job for the Chicago Bears. So like I said, if he can earn the starting job week 1, the kid has talent, and I think that is a great sign for the Chicago Bears. But if they see through OTAs and training camp and practice that this kid needs a few weeks, then that is fine. Obviously, I'm not saying, Justin Fields doesn't start week 1, oh, he's a bust and he's not good enough. I'm just saying if his raw skill and generational talent possibly shines enough for him to be the clear-cut week 1 starter, then big things are coming possibly in this very upcoming year. Now, if he needs to sit back a year or even just a couple games like Tua Tagovailoa did, that's fine. I'm not saying he's going to be a bad quarterback. I'm just saying it will determine how fast of an impact he has on this team. Of course, my opinion, like I said, I'd love to see him be good enough to start week 1, but assuming that's not going to happen, I don't want to see Justin Fields be thrown into, like I said, Green Bay Packers, Aaron Rodgers in Lambeau has his first game, and they got a tough schedule. Their first 4 games are Miami Dolphins. That's a great defense. The Buffalo Bills, we know how good Josh Allen is. Tennessee Titans, they have their holes, but they have their cons and they have their pros. But Justin Fields having to deal with Derrick Henry putting up possibly 200 yards on him, that is not a fun game to work with. Los Angeles Rams going against Matt Stafford and the brand new Rams team, going against Aaron Donald and Jalen Ramsey your first game, that's not exactly fun. Week 5, Cincinnati Bengals. That's a quarter of the way into the season, roughly, because 17 games now. Andy Dalton's gotten 4 starts. He's gotten a couple reps in the NFL. He knows what it's like. He sees the game plan. The Bears have a feel of what their squad is. If they're 4-0 at that point, maybe they're just going to roll with Andy. But if they roll into week 5 and they're 1-3 or 0-4, they might be looking to make a change at quarterback, and the Bengals is a decent one. He's not going to go in against Aaron Rodgers, but he's not going to go against like a cupcake game in the Detroit Lions or the Philadelphia Eagles. Not to say the Bears just trump the Lions and Eagles, but I think going against a competitive team like the Bengals that are on the brink of being, a 500 team, that is a decent matchup. He's going to have some competitiveness level. Obviously, any NFL team he plays is going to be competitive, but I'm just saying a team that is on the similar level as the Bears. He's not playing a Super Bowl caliber team. He's not playing a team that's going to win less than 3 games this year. So I'm just saying a team that's on the same level of him, I'd love to see him match up a team like that. And the Bengals is a good one. He gets to play a guy, Joe Burrow, he's definitely played before in college. He's got to play a decent wide receiver room that's going to put up a lot of offensive numbers between Auden Tate, Jamar Chase, Tyler Boyd, T. Higgins. Got to see, can Justin Fields and Allen Robinson match them? Can the Bears defense help out Justin Fields? That would just be a great game in my opinion. Doesn't have to be the ideal game. You know, I'd rather him see anything but a Super Bowl caliber team. I just don't want to see him as his first game go against a Matt Stafford Rams, a Green Bay Packer, Aaron Rodgers, a Tampa Bay Buccaneers, and Tom Brady. I'd like to see him go against a team either on the Bears level, such as the Bengals, maybe the Vikings in your own division, or a team that's well below it, such as the Detroit Lions, or maybe a Las Vegas Raiders are kind of on a similar level as the Bears. Just a game that could really ease him in there, and he's not expected to take down a Super Bowl possible team in the future. Either way, like I said, there is no perfect answer. No matter what we think it is, whether it be week one, whether it be once Andy Dalton does bad, whether it be you have the easiest game on the schedule or the hardest game on the schedule, whether it be coming off the bye week, it's not going to be a good answer. Justin Fields, no matter when he starts, there's going to be growing pains. No rookie is perfect, but to me, I'd at least like to see him at the bare minimum get one starting game in the season. I assume he will 100%. I don't think the Bears' plan is to stick with Andy Dalton the entire year unless he shocks the world and somehow has an amazing season. Of course, I don't think the Bears will be against their starting quarterback going on to win games, but I think they want to see Justin Fields get some playing time as soon as possible, and that's the best route. Just get him experience, just get him reps. No season is going to be perfect. You're not expected to go to the Super Bowl this year, Justin Fields or not. So just get him the experience and get him through the growing pains while you can. Do maybe a similar route like Tua Tagovailoa. You know, he came in off the bye. Their bye week, I believe, was in week 7 or week 8. So Tua started in week 7 or week 8. Justin Fields, the Bears bye week is in week 10. So he'd be starting in week 11. That's a little late in my opinion for sure. Over halfway through the season. But again, there is no perfect answer. I'd like to see Andy Dalton maybe start a few games like possibly an Alex Smith mentorship to Patrick Mahomes. Justin Fields just learns that extra bit that he wouldn't have if he started day one, and now he's ready to go and maybe make the Bears an entertaining team. Again, there is no perfect answer, but to me, my ideal world, of course, to see him start week 1, but being realistic, I'd like to see him either start in week 5 against the Cincinnati Bengals, where it's an on-par team to him, or in week 7, a Detroit Lions that's a team below the Chicago Bears. That way, he's eased in the NFL in a decent way. Of course, I'm on the Andy Dalton train as well. If he's going on to be 4-0, 5-0, 4-1, 6-2, whatever it is, if he has a great record and it's looking like he's going to take the Bears to the playoffs, stick with the hot hand. But if Andy Dalton's going to play like we expect him to do, like a backup, then I'm going to throw in Justin Fields. And I hope the Bears don't make a weird quarterback room. It's like, oh, this week Justin Fields is starting. This week Justin Fields didn't play too good. Now we're going to throw in Nick Foles. Oh, Nick Foles isn't doing great. Let's throw in Andy Dalton. Just pick a starter and stick with it. You can make 1 to 2 changes because it's going to be a weird season. It's going to be a weird start having a rookie quarterback in the room. But don't go back and forth every week not knowing who the starting guy is between Fields, Foles, and Dalton. Like I said, 1 to 2 changes is going to be expected and is acceptable, but don't make a change every week. Pick a guy after a couple changes and stick with them. Ride him out for the rest of the season, whether it be Dalton and letting Fields learning for the rest of the year behind them, or whether it be Fields and letting him the rest of the year through the growing pains, even if he's getting blown out every game. If you believe in the kid, let him get his rookie year experience. You know, Peyton Manning as a rookie didn't have the prettiest numbers, didn't have the prettiest stats, he didn't have the prettiest record. He went 3-13 his rookie year, yet I'd say he didn't turn out too bad. So if Justin Fields has a bad year and he starts most of the year, don't judge completely everything yet. Tua Tagovailoa, he's kind of the opposite case. He's won football games, but everyone's critiquing him. I'd rather see Justin Fields play good and, you know, play like an absolute baller like Justin Herbert did, but he didn't win games. I'd rather my quarterback have raw talent and just the wins and the team around him needs to catch up later, rather than, oh, he's winning games, but you don't exactly trust him, kind of like a Tua Tagovailoa, kind of like a Jared Goff at the Rams formerly. Either way, there is no perfect answer, Bears fans, Bears front office, analysts, critics, scouts. You just need to get him through the growing pains. To me, I just want to see him start and get some playing time this year so he could get through the rookie mistakes now rather than have a rough patch starting in just next year. As always, guys, though, comment down below your opinions, and do you think the Bears will make the playoffs in 2021? I can't predict now just because I don't know who the starting quarterback is, but once it's announced, then I'll make a prediction. But I do want to hear from you guys, and as always, and of course, thanks for watching. 2-1 warning.